Next up on the number one tee.
Well, hello and welcome to your virtual tea time. My name is Tori, and we just did half the show on recording. I mean, it's been a little crazy in here so far. Hi, Tara. How are you?
Hi, Tori. How are you?
We have Tara Bateman back, our resident LPGA caddy and main competitor for me on the golf course.
I quit you on Monday.
No, we were supposed to have our rematch, our legendary rematch from last year's Valley team. Okay. I've been looking forward to it for 365 days. We had team 1A and
I know. I was nervous about getting 1A. I've never had 1A.
Every time I get 1A, Tara's like, why do you always get 1A?
It's true.
So you had a little bit of a migraine though.
I did.
That sucks.
Yeah. I had it Sunday. I thought it was because I was hungover, but yeah, I wasn't.
You weren't feeling it. Well,
I was nervous. I was nervous that you and Molly, but I heard you posted a 77. So I was like, ooh, I could have beat her.
Yeah, but Molly posted a 70.
Oh, I know. I got that text too.
No, I just was along for the ride that day. I was the supporter in the partnership.
What sandwiches did you bring?
We didn't bring anything. Our snack game is low. But hi, Brandi. We have Brandi here too.
Hi.
This is Tara's wife. Came in. It's her birthday today.
Happy birthday. Thank you. 29 again. 16 years removed.
I love it. And she didn't know she was going to be on the podcast today, but surprise.
No, I plan to go to the coach house and hang out.
Oh, well, that's right after to celebrate.
Right.
Okay. And our main guest today, we have Brianna Do. Hi.
Hello.
How
Thanks
are
for
you?
having me.
LPGA professional touring pro. I love it. Thank you for being on today.
No, this should be fun.
We're going to get into all things being on the road on the LPGA. You've been on tour for what now? 8 years?
Yeah,
9 years?
9 years.
Where's the
right
golf
out of
club?
college?
Wait, what?
Where's the golf
Oh, the
club?
golf clap. Do we? Oh gosh, hold on. I haven't.
Oh, there it is.
There
I
we
heard
go.
it.
It's been a while. That's the first tea time golf clap that we've had.
Ooh.
So it's gotten a little awkward here. Okay. Okay, Brianna. Okay, so your first, I have you down for the 2012 U.S. Women's Open in Wisconsin. That was kind of your first big tournament that you played in.
Yeah, my first professional event. I qualified for the U.S. Women's Open, and I actually was leading after 9 holes, and I thought I was playing very bad. So I made the turn on the 18th hole. There's that big giant scoreboard, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm leading. My dad's on the golf bag caddying for me, and I end up missing the cut because I got so nervous. But it was a great first professional debut. I thought.
Were you just straight out of college?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like, it wasn't like you weren't like on Futures Tour yet. Like you
No,
were just like,
so-
what do I do right now? I'm out of college. I don't know what the heck to do.
Yeah, so I graduated June 2012, and then I did Q school the previous year to get my card. So it was going to be US Open and then the Epson Tour. Now that it's called the Epson Tour.
I call it the Futures Tour because I'm old.
So it was the Futures and then the Symetra and now the Epson?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So it was US Women's Open and then play the last half of the season on the then Symetra Tour. So it was an interesting start to my professional career, but it was fun.
That's okay. My first US Open, I shot 90 the second round. So I feel like a girlfriend.
Can you remind everyone where that one was? Where
Pumpkin Ridge.
Ooh, nice. I like
I was
the
10
Pacific
Cup.
Northwest.
Okay, wait.
Literally
How
10
did it
cup.
turn into a 90? What hole? What
I think
happened?
I've already done this on your podcast.
I forgot.
On the 4th hole, I think I dumped like 4 in the water, and then like 11, I think I jumped like 3 more in the water. And I looked at my caddy, I was like, how many golf balls do we have? Like, I don't know.
Your poor caddy. In college, I carried only 3 golf balls because I made my
That is
golf
like
bag
you are for sure of yourself.
as light as possible, but I stocked up on the snacks. So the further along in the round I went, I had to eat the snacks to make my bag lighter because I got more tired.
It's 36 holes, right?
Yeah. So,
But
there
3 golf balls?
yeah.
You can't hit a goldfish over the water. I mean, you gotta have
a golf ball?
There was, I remember, and my coaches will probably tell you this story today still. We were playing, I think, nationals at Country Club of Wilmington. And the second hole is like this L-shaped island green. Put my first ball in the water. It was like tracking online with a pin. And I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Airmails the green into the water. I was like, all right, drop zone, water. And one more golf ball. And I hit it onto the green and made like a 30, 40 footer. And I played with that golf ball the rest of the round. But the last like 16 holes, I was 1 under. And my coaches were like, what? Why? Why this stress? I was like, it was too heavy.
Okay, well, wait, let's clarify though. What if she were to run out of balls?
She could ask a competitor for a golf ball, but it has to be the same color. Now, I've learned this, the same color and the same. So Pro VX1 can't be yellow. If she started with white, it would have to stay with white.
Mm-hmm.
So she could ask a competitor, hey, can you get me, do you have a Pro VX1 left dash? Let me like throw that in there.
Okay, and I have clarification on the left dash too that you might not like.
I like the left dash.
Okay, fine.
But so she can ask a competitor if they have the same ball, and then she could use it. Or she could ask her coaches, because you're in college. Her coaches could go purchase her or go find the same golf ball and bring her the same golf ball within the same round.
See, I thought you were shit out of luck
No,
if you ran.
in college, you would be fine because your coaches have they don't anymore when we were old, and they could go drive their golf carts back and go to the van or whatever and get her golf balls, do whatever to replace that. So she would have been okay at that point.
Do you still carry around only 3 golf balls?
I carry 6 now, only because I compress the ball a little better. So there's a little more scuff marks here and there when you hit wedges.
Uh-huh.
But my thinking is, if I'm in an LPGA event and I've lost all 6 golf balls, I should really just
done.
walk off.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So you're an LPGA professional. Do you ever see that like little girl over there that you're like, oh, she's cute, I'm going to give her my golf ball. And then you're like, oh, shoot, I shouldn't have given her my golf ball because I only have like 1 left.
Sometimes it crosses my mind, but other time I'm like, oh, here's a golf ball. I usually have extra gloves in there because those don't weigh anything.
Yeah.
So I'll just sign one of those and give a glove over a golf ball. But yeah, I've never really signed a golf ball, given it away, and like was left with 1.
What mid-round? Oh, I have. As a caddy. I was like, that was your last golf ball. You know that, right?
Who was that for?
Oh, okay. Thanks,
Not
Scott
to be
Silent.
I played the 5th.
Brandi, how many golf balls do you need in your bag for a round?
Like 2 dozen.
2 dozen. Nice. But yeah, I've heard the same thing, Brianna, where it's like, okay, I'll carry 5 balls, and if they're gone, I'm most likely I'm done. I'm done for the day.
If I go through 5 golf balls, I'm like out.
No,
like
I'm
I
going
don't
to
care
have
where
some
I
food.
am. I'm going to go have some beers, but yeah, I'm done.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's get into it. So you started out, 2012 was the U.S. Women's Open. So, but you were at this Metro Tour for about 3 years, which is now the Epson Tour. How was that experience like? And you said you did have to go through Q school to get in? Yeah.
So I did Q school the summer after my junior year in college just to get status. I had every intention of graduating. And so that was just kind of to set me up for the rest of 2012. I think the Epson Tour was a great stepping stone to the LPGA Tour. You learn how to manage your time. You kind of make your friend group who you travel with. You learn how to travel week after week after week, because in college, you go for like 3 days with your team. You don't have to take care of anything. You just have to follow the packing list and pack and then go and then come back, go to school for another 2 weeks, and then you go again. Whereas professional life, you're packing for 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time. So you definitely learn how to manage.
And is there a packing list? Does anyone give you a packing list?
Unfortunately, no.
But I follow Tori's Instagram. She'll give you a packing list.
I do.
Super helpful.
No, a little behind the scenes. I stumbled across the Scotland packing list this morning. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I need to make a Desert Classic one just for people coming from out of town.
I think think the Scotland one would be a little different
hold
than
on.
the desert classic one.
Although
I was very
less
concerned that
umbrellas.
Tori's Scotland one never showed her packing underwear. So I was like, is she not an underwear person or what?
I'm not. This has been also said on the podcast.
Apparently I don't
assume
listen
that for everyone though.
because she kept packing outfits and I was like, where are the underwear? I was very concerned.
You know what? This got off track. This got really off
Look
track.
at Ashley. She's so vibing over there.
Okay. So, yeah.
So your college one you check your underwear. You make sure that that's packed.
You know what though? I think we need to say where we all went to college, because I didn't go to college, but Brianna, you are UCL Bruin, UCLA Bruin.
Yep.
Tara.
You want to go to Brandi?
Okay, Brandi.
I'm a GCU Antelope,
Nice.
but for basketball, not for golf. So
Oh, you played basketball in college?
Yes,
I
yes.
love that.
college basketball.
I'm a bear. So what I told Tori earlier was that
Sick of
I'm a
bears.
mama bear and you're a Bruin, so you're a baby bear.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you still play basketball at all? Like for fun? Like,
Shoot some hoops every once in a while.
nice.
Tara knows what that means.
You know what? There's a lot. You guys are not going to be allowed together anymore. Okay. I already like how Brandy's on it.
First time and we're not allowed anymore.
No, there's a lot of inside jokes going
Yeah.
on.
I'm missing out here.
There's a lot of
so the
birthday-
inside joke is we have a friend that whenever he sees her, Brandi, he goes, "You shooting some hoops lately?"
And I'm always like, no, I have kids. Like, when do I have time to shoot hoops? I'd love to go shoot hoops.
Like you're going to the local rec center and doing a
I
little
have all this
3-on-3.
free time. No job, no anything. Yeah, I just go shoot hoops all day. Yeah, that'd be great. No, don't have time for that. I wish.
But we do have a 6-year-old, almost 7 next week, that is a basketball player, and so that's when she shoots hoops. But
Nice.
No, I watch him shoot hoops.
Yeah.
And I coach him.
but he tells me I don't know anything about golf.
You know, when someone is writing
she's
these
kind
show
of-
notes for this episode, it's going to be going back. They're going to be like, what's
luck,
the title
Ashley.
of
Yeah.
this episode?
The title was "I'm a big bear and she's a little bear, but she's kicking my ass on the LPGA because I'm not there."
Big bear, little bear.
Okay. So 2015, your first full schedule pretty much in the LPGA. What was that like?
16. So 15,
16.
13 and 14, I bounced back and forth. I had conditional status. I learned very quickly that before the first reshuffle, you can bounce back and forth. But after that, like pick one tour. And I tell that all to...
What does that mean though? Bouncing back and forth.
So I had conditional on the LPGA and full status on the Symetra. So I would try and chase the Mondays for a little bit to try and get in to reshuffle and play the rest of the season on the LPGA. And
Chasing Mondays, meaning the qualifiers.
Yeah.
Because I would say, I don't mean to cut you off, but chain of thought is you want to be on the LPGA. So it's
Yeah.
more prestigious to be, let's go figure out how to be on the LPGA if it's a Monday qualifier or whatever. And so you always have a backup, right? With the Symetra Tour or Epson Tour. And so you always have that place to play. So I think that that's something that's a positive for you to say, because if girls could just stay on the Epson Tour and make their money, they'll get on the LPGA easier or quicker, because if they're that good, like you had multiple status, if you would have stayed, like my question is to you, if you would have stayed on the Symetra Tour for that full year, do you think you would have been in the top 5 or top 15 to get your full card instead of having to chase it?
It's hard to say. But at the end of 14, when I was playing half and half, I had to go back to second stage and work my way back. So I really, not to say I didn't get anything out of it, but status wise, I didn't improve from where I started.
Yeah. But do you think that if you would have only thought about the Symetra Tour, do you think that you would have had a little bit better status than what you ended up with?
Probably. Yeah. I would have maybe been exempt to final stage and just kind of prepared for that instead of having to go to second and then finals. And then in 15, I actually lost my LPGA card. So I only had Epson Tour status, played a full year out there, finished third on the money list, and got my full card.
That's
for
amazing.
16.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, that could have been a year earlier. But I don't know. You can't go back in time and change things. But if any of the rookies ask me like, oh, what should I do? I'm like, hey, if you have status on the LPGA and it's not very good, like try and do those Mondays before the first reshuffle. And after the first reshuffle, if you didn't make a cut on the LPGA, pick a tour to stick it out on, because it's hard having a foot in the door and one out the door. So
You don't think, so here's my question for you. So clearly you were a winner in college. You were a winner in juniors. You were a winner on the Futures or Symetra Tour. You don't think that they gained you knowledge to be successful in the LPGA. So my question, I guess, is, don't you think that it's more beneficial to be successful on the tour that you're at, so you get that confidence to go the next tour up?
I definitely think so. I mean, I think in 15, I played well and I gained a lot of confidence and I was like ready for 2016. I didn't play very well in 2016 because going from one level to the next is very difficult, and there's a learning curve. And I think it just took me a little longer to kind of figure it out in 16. But I'm still playing and still at it. So still trying to figure it out.
Congrats to you. No, but
you.
all I'm saying is that I think that what I would say is be a winner where you're at, because I think that gives you confidence to go to the next level. And that's something that my dad has always instilled with me. And he uses Michelle Wee as a kind of a thing, is that she won at the junior level, but she never won in college. Right. Mm-hmm. And then it took her a long time to break in the LPGA, and she is a winner in the LPGA. And I don't want to discredit her for anything, but there's a difference when you watch players that win in junior, like state level, and then win at AJGA, and then win at college, and then go ahead and win in like multiple wins in college, and then go to LPGA or Futures Tour, and then they win there, and then they go to LPGA and they're successful. Like, and a successful win in LPGA isn't like Lorraine Ochoa that wins every event, but like at one event here, one event there. And so you learn how to win on every level. And I think that we as players that were successful at a certain level learn, oh, well, we won here so we can win there. But I think that a road to the LPGA is really learning how to win at every level. So if it's a Cactus Tour or the Sunbelt Tour or whatever, you learn how to win at a semi-pro, or it's not a semi-pro, but it's at a not an LPGA level, but you learn how to win at each stage, or you get a gaining experience of what did I do wrong when I was in the lead. And then you can continue to win on the LPGA, because let's say there's 144 women every week on the LPGA that were successful at some level through that spectrum. But if you can win on the Futures Tour, Symetra Tour, Epson Tour, I think it gives you a little bit of an edge, because you have that, you've won against your peers that are now your peers on the LPGA.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, you gotta learn to win at all stages.
Yeah. What do you know, this kind of jumping ahead, but what do you know now that you wish you knew in 2016 when you just started?
I had this idea that playing full time on the LPGA, you had to be perfect, hit perfect shots, make every putt, hit the perfect chip. And that you don't have to do what everyone else is doing. If I saw, say, like Morgan Pressel doing a certain putting drill or a swing drill, I'm like, oh, well, she's really good, so I have to do that. But I think that whole year I learned, like, I needed to listen to my body. I might not need 18-hole practice rounds. I might do 2 9-hole day practice rounds. I didn't have to hit perfect shots. It was all about my misses and, like, where was the best place to miss if I did miss the ball, and easiest up and down. So I think in 16, that was, like, huge for me, and just trying to be who I am at the LPGA level and not be like a Morgan Pressel or Michelle Wee, because everyone is different in how they operate and be successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that because in college you don't have a caddy, right? You have you and your coach. Do you think that gaining a caddy changed that?
I think in 16, finding a caddy that I gelled with and that knew the golf world a little bit was difficult. I mean, there's some great caddies out there, but they're great, and they're taken by the the top players for a reason. And so just trying trial and error with different caddies and talking to other girls and getting like referrals and recommendations of who's good, what this person does and what that person does was pretty hard. And it's still hard today because I think there just isn't enough caddies every week for us. Yeah, it's just, I think everything's just getting a little more expensive, travel-wise, expenses. And so it's hard to pay them enough to make it worth their while, yet we're still making way less than the men's tour, you know? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's difficult. The caddy situation.
Well, let's get into the caddy situation because you're probably competing too with male players, right? There's not, meaning like they're looking for caddies too. Mm-hmm. So is there a lot of caddies that are just working with the women, or is it kind of?
I think most of the top ones, they have great bags on the LPGA and they kind of stick it out because they're playing well, their players playing well and making them money. But a lot of the guys kind of use the LPGA as a stepping stone to get to the PGA Tour, and I get it. Like there's just more money out there. So in a way we are competing because the better we play, the longer they stick it out with us. But if we don't play well, then they want to find a way to make money for themselves as well. Everyone's just kind of looking out for themselves almost, which sounds bad. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to make a living.
So let's be honest. So you've been on the LPGA since 2016. So that's 7 years. How many caddies have you gone through?
I can't even count. So many.
That seems very stressful.
Yeah.
Because you have to have a caddy.
Mm-hmm. I think for me personally, finding a good caddy is the hardest part of my job. Like
really?
I can control how much I practice, how well I play. Like there's things I can control, but finding a caddy is something that I can control to an extent, but it's a huge personality thing.
That's
more
like
so
finding a life partner.
You're like
trying to find somebody that's like
so
your
much time with
soulmate
them.
on the golf course.
Yes, it's your golf course husband or boyfriend, and then you have your off course husband or boyfriend, and it's just hard.
Yeah.
Brandi's heard both sides. So.
Does that make you want to like get back in the game?
You know what?
Like knowing that
what doesn't make her want to get back in the game. She wants to get back in the game all the time. And I'm like, no, you have a regular job and we have kids. So,
I think I want to get back out there. No.
You know, like because we texted and I quit caddying. I got fired. Let's just be honest. Well, it was a mutual agreement at the end.
Let's not talk about why.
I said I wanted to have kids and I would caddy for you up through Solheim Cup. And she's like, no, if you're not caddy for me the next event, you're not caddying Solheim Cup. So whatever. Anyways, but that was my second Solheim Cup that I whiffed. But anyways, we're not going to go there. That's not about what this podcast is about. Look at Brandi.
Both sides of it. You could have been on one side of the pond and the other side of the pond.
Yeah, I could have been
both.
pro USA and pro Europe. Yeah. So I'm just Switzerland.
And now there's a shortage. And
no, but what I was going to say is it's hard to be for me, it was hard to be a caddy. And I stopped caddying in 2011. You started on 2012. But it's hard. And there's 5-10 women caddies out there right now. Sam and Missy and Michelle. I'm trying to think of like how many women.
There might be like a dozen or a few more now.
Yeah.
So it's getting
Audra is out there. Yeah. So anyways, but not that Audra.
Okay. Thinking of a different Audra. Sorry.
But anyways, I think it's hard because there's overall the men population of caddies they dominate the LPGA. And I think it's hard because I think there's a very few that have gone on and been successful in the PGA. John is one of them that used to caddy for Morgan. And I can't remember where he is now. And every once in a while I'll see a caddy out there on the PGA Tour that I'm like, oh, he caddied on the LPGA. I was back in when I was in my younger time of days. I think it's the PGA Tour has such a different mecca for how they treat their caddies in the LPGA. But it is a stepping stone. But I think the caddies make a huge difference to the LPGA. And how I was going to start this and where my mind was going is the men don't go through caddies as quickly as the women go through caddies.
Yeah.
But isn't that just a money thing? Because
no, I think it's how you gel with your. I think
so the women, it takes a little longer to find someone that they want to.
You don't see the Bones and Phil Mickelson. You don't see the Tiger and Fluff or the Tiger and Stevie or whatever. You don't see that as often on the LPGA.
The long-term caddy relationship.
No, like caddies, so when I was a caddy, and I don't mean to take this away from you, but I caddied for Brittany for almost a year, but every week I was like, I'm going to get fired.
She would call me and say that.
Yeah. I'm like.
Just because it's much more normal.
I'm like, I didn't get enough golf balls on the range. I'm going to get fired this week.
There weren't enough snacks in the bag.
I cleaned out her golf bag and I took out some snacks and then she was hungry. So I'm going to get fired. Like,
how much are the flights from Ohio to Phoenix?
Yeah. And I think women, I'm a woman, but I think we're a little bit more demanding than the guys, where I think the guys can be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but the women on the caddies for the women go through like, you're like a dime a dozen on the LPGA.
I can understand though. I mean,
you would caddy
difficulty.
If they didn't read a putt right for you, you'd be like, you're done.
You're done. You gone.
You don't have a purple. She gone. You'd be like, you don't purple Gatorade. She gone.
As a non-golfer though,
I do like purple.
Is it a little bit about ego? I mean, are the men a little bit more egotistical where they're like, I can read this putt, I don't need that caddy as much?
I
where
think
the
women
are like, hey, I trust my caddy a little bit more. Where men are like, yeah, I got this. Or no.
I think the women, well, when you watch, I'm not trying to segregate anybody, but women caddies sometimes have to line you up. They have to read every putt. They have to like literally do everything for the player, where the men caddies, you're like, here's your golf ball. You got 250 to the hole. You got 240 to that lump where you want to hit it. Go, bye.
Yeah.
And I think the women are too dependent.
Yeah.
I think we're just a little more emotional than the men. And so like we take it a little more personal. Like if you give us the wrong number, like you're out to like sabotage us. Like you're not on our team kind of situation. But yeah, it's difficult, caddy.
Yeah.
But I've had some good ones.
Okay, so moving on.
Okay.
I met Brianna at Cool Clubs up in North Scottsdale. You were I don't know what you were doing. What were you doing up there?
So my boyfriend works there, and when it's like bad weather outside, I go there and hang out, hit balls on the TrackMan and stuff. I get my clubs kind of dialed in there whenever I need anything. So sometimes I just pop in because there's a great breakfast burrito spot across the street.
I can appreciate that.
So I'll like bring a breakfast burrito for my boyfriend and I, and then I'll go off on my
I mean, me personally, I'd much rather have a breakfast burrito than a breakfast sandwich.
Ooh,
Amen.
Yeah.
We just had breakfast burrito.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
Love a good breakfast burrito.
Totally.
Ashley called me prior on the way here and was at Sonic. I'm like, grab me a breakfast burrito. Well, actually, I said, grab me a hamburger first. She judged me. And I said, fine, a breakfast burrito. God. She's like, what? Okay. Anyway, so how important is equipment to you? How often are you tweaking it? How often are you completely changing up the bag?
So I'm a player that kind of likes consistency. So if I have dialed in like a set of irons at the beginning of the year, I'm going to stick it out and then maybe do little tweaks here and there. But like as for like the club head and the shaft combination, like that will probably stay the same. And I mean, when I first went to Cool Clubs to get fitted with KBS shafts,
That's KBS.
It's just a shaft company, Kim Braley Shafts.
Are they better than Nippon?
I've actually heard. I like it. Yeah, you stand by that.
So they've kind of developed graphite shaft more for the ladies tour. And graphite used to have like a pretty bad rep with not being consistent. But the ones that they have designed in the last few years, I think are great. A lot of the girls on tour are using them, and the shafts in their woods are great too. So I have it pretty much throughout my whole bag. But I went into Cool Clubs and they were like, oh, like what are you looking for? And I was like, well, my 3-wood goes a little right, so I aim a little left. And my 5-wood, it likes to draw a little too much and or hook left, so I just aim a little more right. And they were like, wait, you play professional golf and this is how you're playing?
This
like
is incredibly relatable.
Like you're playing around your clubs.
And tell them this.
So I think it's pretty important because you want to take out as many
obstacles,
yes, as you can, and like know that your clubs are going to perform how you want them to, so that you can figure out like, oh, maybe it's my swing instead of my clubs, or instead of questioning like, could it be both? Could it be one or the other? So I encourage people to get fitted, and once you get fitted for something, then you already have kind of a roadmap of where you want to go with it, or you stick around that area. I think it's pretty useful.
How often do you get fitted?
Once a year.
That's it?
When the new stuff comes out.
Mm.
And then if I have any issues with, say, a hybrid or a wood, then I'll have them look at it, and then we kind of figure out how it can be that much better. It's not like it's gotten worse, but it's always just making it better and better and better instead of taking 2 steps back and going forward again.
I do want to get into brands and sponsorships and everything, but first, do you find yourselves chasing distance or getting more speed? Is that important to you, or?
Definitely distance. But that goes in hand, speed and distance. I have had a long career, I feel like, in the professional golf, and I'm considered a veteran, say it nicely. So this off season, I'm back in the gym. I used to just do Pilates, which is great because it's low impact, but you still get a good workout in. But I feel like if I'm going to chase the speed and the distance, I kind of need a little more out of the gym, weightlifting, speed training. So definitely chasing that. Yeah. I need a little more.
What's your average? What's your driver average?
I'm probably carrying it around 230.
I didn't ask for a carry. I'm total distance because that's what they say on the LPGA.
Total probably around 250. Yeah.
Is that enough for how they lay out the courses now?
I wouldn't say I'm on the short end of the driving distance and all that. But I would like to be on the longer end of the average. But yeah, the courses are getting longer, which I think is fun because we have a mix of long courses and a mix of like pitch and putt.
You do on the tour?
Giggle. That's a hitting.
Like they do vary it up though?
Yeah.
Yeah, they try to. They're getting a lot better. It can still, everything needs a little work, but they're trying to mix it up a little, use different tee boxes on par 3s. Like sometimes in 1 week, we'll use 2-3 different tee boxes, making them longer, shorter, drivable par 4s, reachable par 5s and 2. So they're mixing it up a little more, which is
How far
nice.
do you hit your 7-iron?
Carry distance like 143.
I love that you know your carry distance. That's amazing. It'd be so easy to caddy.
Listen, she keeps changing caddies. She has to know these things.
I'm like,
that's amazing.
Tara's looking for a job.
No,
I haven't.
Brandy's like, sit down there, partner.
Yep, you're not traveling that much.
no.
Well,
I
she
just
doesn't
love
have
it.
to. My first event is at Longbow. If you're interested.
She is a great cat.
I have unlimited PTO, so I can do it. No, but I think it's amazing that you know your carry distance because back in the day when I was older timey, you have a TrackMan. Do you have a TrackMan or Fight, whatever?
I don't. But the reps on tour that come out every week, they usually have a TrackMan, and then I'll borrow it on like a Tuesday or Wednesday to hit maybe like 5 balls with each club to kind of get my numbers for that week, because you go to elevation change, sea level, not sea level, humidity, no humidity, everything kind of affects the ball a little bit, and so that's always a nice
reassurance.
or like a starter for the week to have when you're on the golf course.
So how many? I don't mean to.
It's okay. No, I love it.
How many players do you see? Like, because I saw, like, I went out to the Phoenix Open, is about to happen here, but I went out last year on a Wednesday, and almost every pro had something that was in front of them, like a TrackMan or a flight tour. Like, I don't even know the name, so I'm going to butcher them all, but they had some sort of flight test data that they knew exactly how far they hit the ball. And it makes a difference because, you know, you have your yardage and you're like, oh, it's 143 to that hill. Can you like push it? And I know there's adrenaline and there's like other things that go along, but like, it's pretty amazing that you know your flight distances. And I think that makes a difference because me as an amateur, I'm like, I think I can hit this wedge about 115. And my dad's like, you can't hit it that far. I'm like, I think I can. Like,
I did that one day though, remember?
That's why you're a professional. I'm an amateur, right? Like, but it's pretty amazing that you have that. And like, you don't even have the performance or like whatever, like and of course our friend Shannon has her little own flight thing and she's like, I can hit my 6-iron like this far, and I'm like, well, you sit in an indoors
In your garage.
like, how far you hit it. So I think that it's really amazing and a detriment to you that you know exactly how far you can hit a certain iron.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I can hit my 7-iron 150 and like, it's pretty much like 143 to 153 and like somewhere in between there. I'm like, that's 150.
So, okay, sponsors and getting, because it sounds like you're open to using any brand. What is it like trying to get sponsors? How important is it to get sponsors?
So the major golf companies, they have
You're talking like Ping, Callaway, Nike, TaylorMade. Okay.
They probably have, I don't know, 10, 15 girls on staff, maybe a little more.
That's it?
Yeah,
Total between like TaylorMade, Nike.
Oh no, like each company.
Okay.
But still, each company only has 10 to 15 professional women golfers on
and
staff.
Ping kind of
That sounds
cheats
about
because
right.
Ping is like Ping Canada, Ping like whatever. Like I not to call it Ping, like God bless you, you're a Phoenix company, but
That's
yeah, like
crazy
you
to me,
have,
though.
but you can. The companies can also be like, well, they're from China, so I can do Ping China or TaylorMade China or like whatever. Like they don't have to be like of the US.
Yeah. And it was interesting. I was talking to one of the club reps and they are in a time where do they sign more players that play or do they sign like golf groups who do YouTube videos and Instagram because they have such a bigger market than we do. So we had an interesting conversation about that and what direction they're going to go.
It's
which
a whole nother podcast.
No,
Yeah.
seriously, write it down. That can be a whole episode.
Because I can't stand the YouTube videos my son watches. So.
But that is becoming a thing now. They are. I mean, it just happened like last week where these big brands are signing these huge
like
influencers.
So I play mostly Callaway clubs. I have the new Paradigm stuff in my bag. They're great. But I have 3 Vokey wedges and 2 PXG hybrids. So I'm kind of a little all over the place.
You don't have enough clubs of Callaway.
So I'm not under contract.
Because if you're under contract, you have to have so many and you can only be like 3 clubs or 4 clubs less, right? Yeah.
So when people ask me if I'm sponsored, like, yes, I'm sponsored, but I get product. So there's like
no money.
Yeah, no monetary gain. But there are sponsors that do, you know, give money for a logo and stuff like that. But I find it a little difficult to do that because we just don't have that much exposure like the men do. But if you're like a Nelly Corda, Brooke Henderson, one of the top girls that get a lot of TV times, you'll see a lot of logos. But I want to say maybe half to 2/3 of the girls on tour just get free product.
What's the product on your front of your hat?
I wear a free Callaway hat.
Free?
Visor, yeah.
Why don't you block it out like some players do, like for rent? Like,
yeah.
Really?
So I have a few, you know, just like blank hats. So depending on like, so I'm a visor girl.
I love a visor.
Do you want an F-bomb hat?
That'd be really fun.
Tori, I see a future.
I'll email you sponsorship opportunities.
Yeah. So some girls do have like a blank staff bag, a blank hat. It just kind of depends on which direction you want to go in. Callaway's been good to me.
Treat you good, so
yeah.
you treat them good.
Yeah.
I get it.
Let me ask a question. Do we think Nelly Corda
She was
gets a
just out in Phoenix,
sponsorship
by the way.
for TaylorMade? TaylorMade just sponsored her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we think she
It
gets
was
that
Nike.
sponsorship with Nike if she didn't get so many calls out by the men
Yes.
saying how great her swing is? Yes, that happens.
And she was
Because
just
just a year ago, she was just as big. No?
you know,
That's a
I
hard
feel
one.
like it took the men to say, this girl is amazing. Look at her swing. It brought all that media attention.
wait till the T-Mobile commercial comes out. By the way, it was at Phoenix Country Club. I'm just going to shout it out.
But I mean, she had the Titleist sponsorship last year, and she was with JL. So I feel like
Jail's legit.
yeah, they're pretty good
Allie
stuff.
needs that in her shop.
I think. Listen, when have I ever seen you wearing JL?
I'm too fat for jail.
Stop it. Okay, let's get back on track. So you're not having sponsors give you any cash and paying you. So how are you traveling the world? It is so expensive.
Mhm.
Clara Rogers just did this golf.com animation of how
yeah.
much travel the LPGA Tour has to do.
I loved it because they did it on all tours.
That was
Yeah.
It
insane.
was amazing. But the LPGA was like,
No,
my head
it was
like this,
exhausting.
like
Yeah.
Asia.
How do you guys do that? How do you recover? Even if you were to take on that full schedule,
I don't think we ever really recover.
how?
I mean, we do a lot of traveling, and I think there's this idea that we travel like the men on private jets and stuff, but it's far from that. Like there are events we are driving 5-6 hours sometimes. We fly commercial, take red eyes. So it's tough, but again, like I figured out, sometimes Monday's travel day, I don't have to go to the golf course because usually after a travel day, my body just hates
nothing
me.
good comes out.
Yeah,
of
I
it.
just want to lay in bed, maybe just use your massage gun and get your body a little loose, do a light body weight workout, and that's it, you know?
Watch a Netflix show.
Yeah, lots
Housewives,
of Netflix, Hulu. I'm all about the
Netflix and
reality.
chill. You
Like-
are
oh,
what?
Anything Bravo,
Oh my god!
all
Me
about.
too.
It's so
It's
bad.
been a while since I've been able to vent on the mic about Bravo.
Below Deck, Housewives,
All of it. Turn it on.
Yeah.
Get some food.
Yeah. You
Get the
just sit there,
massage
and it's
gun out.
It's
That sounds
mindless
heavenly.
watching.
Isn't that like $1 Million Listing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love $1 Million
I
Listing.
know. So
Yeah. So
Okay,
Bravo.
so Monday is your travel relax
Bravo
day.
day.
Mhm.
Bravo,
Bravo
day.
day.
And then, so Tuesday, Wednesdays, practice round pro-ams. I have been on tour long enough where I've seen these courses year after year. So I don't feel as stressed, whereas the rookies probably are I have to see the course twice, they're trying to figure it out. So that's one less stress for me with all the travel.
What's the deal with pro-ams? Is that a money-making tool?
So I think the money from the pro-am pays for part of the tournament and then goes to LPGA, USGA girls golf. We do a little vote every year. And so when people think we get paid for pro-ams on Wednesday, we don't. The pro-ams we do get paid for sometimes are the ones on Monday that are off-site or over a weekend, after you miss a cut or something like that. But the Wednesday ones are purely
They're mandatory.
We have to do it if
They
you're
are
in it.
mandatory.
You can only miss one a year? 2 a year, maybe.
I think maybe one.
And is it 9 holes or 18 holes?
It depends. We think it's beneficial for everyone if we do 9 and 9. So you play 9 holes with one pro, and then the back 9 you play with another pro.
Mhm.
You get to play with
Yeah.
2 pros, and it saves us some energy. But some of them are still 18 holes.
I think so. I've been on both sides. I've caddied for 18 holes. I've caddied for 9 holes. I've played in a pro-am for 9 holes.
Yeah.
It's fun playing as a sponsor or 9 holes with 2 different girls. It really is fun because you get personalities on both sides.
Is
I
that-
think, and I've watched the PGA, and the PGA on Wednesdays is always 9 holes. And I think that the LPGA should mirror what the men are doing.
Absolutely. Is that torture?
I've been lucky enough where most of my groups have been great. I mean, if they're hey, we're out here to have fun. Like,
Where's my
then
beer?
then you know it's great.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've had a group where like we're counting on you. Like, we want to win this thing.
Oh,
Like,
it is an actual competition?
Well, yeah.
oh yeah, you
They
win
put it
like
on
a
the
little
scoreboard.
trophy. Yeah.
It's on the scoreboard on the holes.
And is it like a scramble?
Yes. Well, sometimes it's the pro's ball against. So if the pro makes like a birdie, but the team makes a par, then the pro's ball count. But then sometimes it's
Wow,
everybody's
that
ball
sounds
counts. So the pro, like
Yeah.
sometimes it's a shamble, I guess. And
It just
sometimes-
depends
yeah.
on the tournament.
Oh my
and
God, this
what
has
they want to do.
such invitational vibes.
Yeah.
I never knew.
Dudes.
Yeah, it's mostly dudes.
Always dudes.
Oh. But overall, like, it seems like a necessary evil. Like, you have to show up, you have to do it. It is what it is.
You get fined if you don't show up. So you can be like Marshawn Lynch. Well, shoot, he was a cow.
I don't think you get fined.
You
Well, you
get
might
fined if
get
you don't
fined
show
and
up.
you might get DQ'd as well from the tournament.
Ooh, ouch.
I think
Yeah.
something like that.
Do you use it as like another way to practice too? Like a practice round? Like, you look at it that way at least, or no?
Not so much, because one thing I learned on the Epson Tour is these pro-ams are paying for our events. And so these people are people paying to run this event. And so we should, entertain them and talk to them and get to know them. I've gotten to know some great people, and it's just connections for possibly the future after golf. But on the Epson Tour, you're really ingrained that almost, because I feel like if you skip the Epson Tour, you don't understand that. And so some of the girls do use it as a straight practice round, and they don't socialize with the AMs, which kind of sucks, but you do you.
Mhm.
But I like to kind of view it as an opportunity to just get to know people. You never know when you need that connection later.
Yeah, and I think it's good because people walk away from it on the PGA, LPGA, it doesn't matter. I've met multiple people in life that were like, I played with so-and-so and they were such a jerk. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They were so friendly on the whatever. And they're like, they didn't talk to me in the entire practice round or whatever. And she's even come kind of across it where they're like, oh, this person was a jerk. They didn't talk to me. They just walked ahead. And I'm like, I don't really know what to say. They're really nice. Like,
Yeah.
And so I think it's a time where, unfortunately, as an LPGA player, you have to perform and give yourself to the person. But at the same time, like, those are the people that are sponsoring your event and making sure that it goes forward. So like, it's a kind of political bounds, and this is where business becomes pleasure and pleasure becomes business on the LPGA. But people remember your time at playing in a pro-am.
Yeah.
And
Makes sense.
it's a huge memory bank, and it can make or break you as an individual and make or break you as a professional event.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's wrap things up. What's going to go on in 2023? What's your schedule like? What's your goals? What does it look like? You say your first event's at Longbow?
Yeah, so I'm gonna probably do the bouncing back for a little bit. I'll play some Epson events, chase some Mondays, and kind of go from there. Hopefully I'll be in the Hawaii event where I played well last year. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It's kind of a TBD on the schedule, but
How's your game like right now?
So I took quite a bit of time off after Q school just because we don't start again until the end of March. I probably took 6-7 weeks off, and last week was the first week back grinding and like working on my game. So it's refreshing. It's fun again. Not that it was ever really not fun, but sometimes you just need to step away and like want to practice again and want to grind again to get the season started. So
Throughout your career, what's been a part of your game that you can always rely on, and what have you struggled with consistently?
I think I can always pretty much rely on, like hitting fairways. Approach shots probably could be a little better, but off the tee, I'm pretty confident. Putting has gotten a lot better in the last few years. Chipping's always a work in progress for me. It's my least favorite thing to practice.
Really?
Yeah, I could putt for hours, but the chipping, we
Really?
just don't enjoy it.
Oh, I like to chip.
I like the chip.
Yeah.
I like to hit pitches. I like to see like the spin and
Pitching I enjoy, but
that's
it's like
chipping.
But it's like a full swing.
No.
It's like half swings.
Mediocre swing.
Brandi, when you're grinding it out at the range, what's your favorite
she grinds
thing?
it all the time.
What's your favorite thing to practice?
Oh, the driver.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
You
the
just
only
go
thing I
straight
can
driver.
hit. Yeah, I mean,
The
that's my
driver needs
best
to be
club.
tweaked.
I mean,
it
if
goes
I
like, she hits it for an amateur that's a 22. She hits it 220.
Nice.
But it goes straight up in the air. And I'm like, you need a driver that goes this way, not this.
She keeps saying we need to take it back to PXG and angle it down a little bit. 'Cause
Yes.
I do,
Maybe
I
you
hit
just need to
fly
get
balls.
fitted.
Yes.
I know, but I mean, center like fly balls to center field. As long as they're center field and not right or left field, I'm okay with that, right? I mean,
you have a
they're
good point.
They're going in the middle.
I don't take her back to PXG because I don't want her to outdrive me. So,
So you're hitting high forever.
yes.
Can you imagine if that thing went low? It would be a solid 250.
She's kind of
Oh, like
sabotaging you
260.
right now.
I love it.
It's gonna happen.
Oh, ladies, it's been so fun today. Brianna, thanks for being here.
Thanks for
Good luck
having
this
me.
season.
Thank you.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, so much. You'll have to keep us posted on
I will.
how your year's going. Brandi, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on.
Absolutely.
She's like, where's the coach house?
Anytime. Where's the coach house? I'm there.
Tara, thanks for being on.
Anytime.
Appreciate it.
See you soon.
All right, ladies, thank you. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the details on today's show. If you haven't already, please give a 5-star written review on your favorite podcast platform, or even screenshot this episode and send it to your golf buddies. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you on the first tee in a couple days.